So what can I say about HellDivers 2 that hasn't been said already? The game has received a lot of praise, and rightfully so. It really is a standout multiplayer co-op shooter, and it reminds me a lot of the early 360 days when console online multiplayer was really taking off, and you had a slew of fantastic multiplayer games, including co-op shooters such as Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, Crackdown as well, Halo ODST, to name a few. And that's really what this game perfectly encapsulates, that sort of bromance, Army of Two style gameplay we haven't seen in a long time. Also, shout out to Transformers War for Cybertron, which had a co-op campaign as well, which was really underrated. Great, those two games are so underrated. But yeah, I digress. That's why I want to make this video. I just want to make the point that, it really does harken back to a simpler time of gameplay, where loot boxes and overcomplicated menus didn't plague those games as much as they seem to today. And I have heard murmurings of how this game has some pay to win functionality in it, but I don't think that's really true. It's more like pay for cosmetics, and pay little for cosmetics as well. But yeah, another comparison I wanted to make in terms of realizing how great HellDivers 2 is compared to the spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead 2, which was Back 4 Blood. And that game kind of failed. Like, it definitely did not remotely hit the heights of Left 4 Dead. And I think a lot of that had to do with the barrier of entry when it comes to arcade direct gameplay, getting into the game real quick, self-explanatory gameplay that HellDivers 2 has and Left 4 Dead had, and even Crackdown. Those games really were pick up and play co-op shooters, and Back 4 Blood screwed it up a lot with its tutorials and its overcomplicated systems. And when you play Left 4 Dead, you can just go into a quick play straight away from the menu, or you could pick a level and go straight into it. It was very simple. It was pick up the game, pick up the controller, jump in, play with randoms or friends, and have a great time. And super addictive. You keep coming back, and that's what this game does. The only hindrance to this game has obviously been the networking issues they've had, which obviously they face now. They didn't know the game was going to be as huge as it is. And really possibly the most successful PlayStation exclusive multiplayer game ever, which is insane to say that. The arguments being made for this game as shaming AAA games are fairly valid, because it is technically an indie game, I guess, maybe. I mean, it's made in cooperation with Sony, so I don't know if you still consider it an indie game, I don't know. But yeah, games like this and games like Baldur's Gate 3 have really, I think, opened up a lot of eyes to what's possible when you don't have the pressure of the shareholder meetings and the pressure of conformity in the gameplay realm. And more people should be experimenting and harkening back to stuff that have worked in the past that maybe had died off at one point. Doesn't mean it's dead forever. We can always come back to it. And I think that's what's happening with HellDivers 2. And I would not be surprised if we're going to get a string of sequels, for one thing, and also a string of games trying to be like this. Yeah, we shall see. But in any case, HellDivers 2 is a phenomenal game. If you haven't tried it out yet, please do. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're a Left 4 Dead fan like myself. Also, shout out, I almost forgot to say this, but shout out to Aliens Fireteam. That was a really fun game, kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. Very Left 4 Dead horde shooter a few years back. Not as good as HellDivers, I'm not going to lie, but if you're a fan of the Aliens franchise, check it out. That's it for now. Mark, Magic Beanbag, stay happy.
I'm doing my part.